Purple Daily is daily Vikings entertainment. We just want the Vikings to win a Super Bowl before we die.
I will ride with this group.
Seriously, man. Please.
And away we go.
Oh, breaking news to start Feedback Friday.
This is how it's done. Roster construction.
All the Vikings do is add pieces with their buckets of cap space left over. The Vikings have signed depth linebacker Eric Wilson, a former undrafted free agent by the Vikings back in 2017. He's been with Green Bay the last few years. Just kind of a little rotation guy in case Blake Cashman gets hurt again or Ivan Pace, whatever.
Yeah.
And then Rondale Moore reportedly in for a visit, the former second-round pick diminutive wide receiver out of Purdue. He has spent, I think he got hurt and missed last year with Arizona, right? So he's a free agent now.
Yeah, he
He's
got traded to
visiting
the Falcons, I think, during the course of last year as well.
Okay.
And was on IR. But so the Wilson signing is probably as a backup guy, but also a special teams guy.
That's fair.
Special teams
that's
player.
Yeah.
Which I'm wondering if this means that Asamoah's job might not be completely safe because he's basically a special teams guy and only a special teams guy.
Yeah. It's fair.
I'm just throwing it out there. But here's the thing: this team, they never rest.
All they do is hunt for add-ons to this roster. So we'll get to, man, there's some juicy comments from Feedback Friday. We had a great time at Blackstack last night for the Purple Daily Unplugged event. But let's start our day at Quick Trip here before we dive into what should be a loaded Feedback Friday.
Yep, and if you woke up this morning, you're going to work, and you're driving to work, and you're like, you know what, I don't have anything for lunch, right? Well, I'm going to tell you right now, all that you have to do is stop at your Quick Trip because the food is here. Delicious appetizers, great food all around. In fact, you know what Quick Trip has? Quick Trip has everything basically a grocery store does, except the hassles. Quick Trip is easier. Quick Trip can make your life as simple as possible. Fresh, fast, and packed with flavor. Their food is absolutely outstanding. And of course, you know what? As I continue to say, there it is right there. Look at all of those choices. Ladies and gentlemen, Sports Dad does not lie. But if you do not want to go inside, that's okay too. Just put the app on your phone and they will actually bring your food out. So as easy as it gets, Quick Trip wants to make your life simple. And Quick Trip also wants to make sure that you know that the food is there and it is outstanding.
All right, boys. Well, let's dive in here. Let's start with Justin Doring, who is he's one of many people who brought strong reactions to the inbox and the YouTube comment section off our Aaron Rodgers feisty discussion on a Wednesday.
Yep.
So he says, on Rodgers, Mackie, you are out of your freaking mind. If anything, I can merely see you just playing devil's advocate and watching you argue with Judd. It was like witnessing a bloody knockdown brawl between your favorite uncles, and you know which one was right. Ballsy, Mackie, but Judd was right again. I thought that was, we've been doing podcast and radio together for like over a decade. I thought that was one of our 5 most fun, feisty arguments on Wednesday.
It was pretty good. It was good. I thought the best one of late was the one, was it at the end of the season on Darnold and KO and that? Yeah, the Rams game. Yeah. I thought that was more intense. This was a good one. It was solid. It was a lot of sparring. I felt that one was just a real, just down in the dirt type of fight. But there is a lot, as I'm sure you're about to go through some more comments. There are a lot of opinions. And here's the thing, too, you guys. As we're doing this right now live, the steam, the momentum, the speculation is not slowing down because look at the backup quarterback market right now. It would appear the Vikings don't have a plan, but they do have a plan. They always have a plan. They're very smart.
Yeah, the backup.
It's going.
I think I've got this right here. I think this is an updated list. The current backup quarterback options, not counting Aaron Rodgers, Russell Wilson, Kirk Cousins. Although there's a Kirk Cousins thing in here. The Purple Daily Anonymous tip line. Very, very interesting, and we're going to get to that.
Love that line.
But I believe Cooper Rush is still available.
Yeah.
Joe Flacco is still available.
Yeah.
Drew Lock.
Yeah, Drew Lock's out there, but two signed, at least two, if not three, signed yesterday.
Yeah, well, Taylor Heineke off the board, Mason Rudolph off the board.
Minshew
to the Chiefs, but Jameis Winston's still out there. Bailey Zappi has been in the mix as a starter before. So there's still some like recognizable names. So it's not like they're just completely without a chair in the game of musical chairs. But it is interesting that they've just been frozen at that position. The most important, there was a time last year where it's like, look at all the riches they have in this room. 3 former first round picks, and then Nick Mullins has been a starter. So, okay, Max Muscle says, man, I'll say it. I'll admit it. The thought of Aaron Rodgers coming to Minnesota makes me excited. A win now defense, a win now defensive coordinator, a win now offense, a win now play caller. This Ferrari is tuned up and ready to go. And how about the possibility of rivals Harrison Smith and Aaron Rodgers teaming up? Judd's going to cook me here, but I will stand in the paint on this one. And I will add this from Diana Rossini's podcast that posted either last night or this morning.
Yeah, I watched it.
And she said it was her and Chase Daniel kind of exploring, why is this even a thing? What is the why behind this Rodgers Viking stuff? And from a Vikings perspective, Diana Rossini said, and I quote, Kevin O'Connell told me on the red carpet at the NFL Honors event that JJ McCarthy was ahead of schedule and progressing well. But at the combine, a week or two later, she said, I got the sense that maybe it wasn't that optimistic.
Yeah, first of all, I saw this, and she, as far as I saw, she didn't really elaborate. Like, I would have liked to know a little bit, like, why are you, like, were you told something? Are you just surmising, like you're in a bar and an executive says, hey, I hear the McCarthy thing is not going as good as we, what was the context? Now I said that sort of thing yesterday, and Thorsky, rightfully so, threw it back in my face and said, well, if that was the case, Darnold probably comes back. Or he said, Sam comes back, which with what the price point was on Sam, he might be right about, but I wanted more from Diana on like what she was trying to get at. I didn't get that from her.
I mean, my interpretation is that she feels like there's some questions internally about whether he is going to be physically ready to play, I guess.
Right. But like, she's an insider, but I guess my question is she like, did she get something that she interpreted like that? Was she told something sort of concrete and she's trying to protect somebody? I need more off of that. Like, we have become quarterback detectives. Like, this is an investigation. It's active. The quarterback tape all around my house. And so now I don't think this is reckless speculation like we are making up that Aaron Rodgers would or would not make sense. We are now charged with being in charge of a thorough investigation, FBI-like, if you will.
Castle Circle says, my interpretation is she wants clicks. I think two things can be true. Yeah, it's nice to get clicks in a business where you're building an audience or whatever. But this is, for anyone acting like this is 100% fake or only driven by the Rodgers side, I think we're past the point of that.
Oh, yeah.
There was a period, it definitely makes more sense for Rodgers than it does maybe for the Vikings, but there is something to this, and we can't dismiss it. I know people are ready to freak out in the comments.
Well, there's more to it than that. You'll get to one thing. There's this runs deeper. Don't just look at suspect A-Rod, okay? Aaron is not just, don't look. There are more the law and order twist that could possibly come of this is incredible.
I know Chip wrote about it. I'm not sure if he talked about it with you on Purple Access this week, Judd, but I mean, can the Vikings just have one off season where their quarterback drama is not like at a number 10 of TMZ? Like, can they just have a normal quarterback succession plan or just have it go their way? But with McCarthy, like, if Diana is right here or is hearing weird things, like he tore his meniscus and he had the full tear, right? Like he had the full surgery.
Yeah.
Full surgery. what is going on with this meniscus? Like, we've seen meniscus injuries happen, but like, have we seen meniscus injuries, especially with someone who's still very young, like derail and take this long to heal?
Well,
weird.
But Kevin O'Connell is saying that that's not the case. He's throwing. He's definitely throwing the football. So he's at the point where that's where the conflicting information is what is fascinating here. And I know people want the Vikings to come out and just say, hey, this is all ridiculous.
Well,
but they haven't done that because they are still considering options. And that brings us to the Purple Daily Anonymous tip line here, gentlemen.
Love this.
It's from, well, I'll just read it this way. I've sat on this all week and decided last minute I'm going to send this in for the anonymous Purple Daily tip line for today's Feedback Friday episode.
Thank you.
But I don't want it to be anonymous. I want all the smoke. So with that said, it's your boy Viker here with 2 R's. Viker from Twitter and I think the YouTube comment section.
Okay.
Last Saturday, I attended a conference at Liberty University. Liberty Bibbity.
Bibbity bibbity.
One of the guest speakers was Kirk Cousins. Kirk's been kind of making the rounds. He was at a function that Jeremiah Cereals was at. You know, they bring him in as a keynote. It ain't cheap to bring in Kirky Boy as a keynote, I've heard.
I saw that, yeah.
But he spoke at Liberty University. I paid for the meet and greet photo op with him and was able to chat with him a bit once he noticed mine and my son's Vikings caps that we were proudly wearing. I said to him, hey, great times. It was a fun 6 years, which he replied with, yes, it was. I miss it up there. He went on to add that his wife said she really misses Minnesota and even mentioned how tough it was to move away. Short time later, he took the stage at this conference, and during the back and forth with the host, he was asked about the upcoming season. Kirk said, quote, I talked to my agent this morning, actually, and he was going over all the options and teams still looking at quarterbacks. He went on to say his agent speculated that the most likely options available would be QB2 situations.
Oh, boy.
This is now Viker talking himself. Says, if you ask me, I don't think Kirk is going to uproot his family to move to lovely Cleveland, Ohio for just another situation where he might get bounced like in Atlanta.
Yep.
Kirk is coming back home to Minnesota to mentor JJ McCarthy.
You like that? You like that?
I think we have to consider it now. I've tried to dismiss all of this stuff. But I believe I told you guys in the audience last night at the event, I think there's a better chance that Kirk Cousins gets cut by the Falcons and comes back here than Aaron Rodgers signs here. I think there's a better chance of that. But there's there's a plan here, guys. Like, you do not allow the backup quarterback market to dry up. Like, there's now a drought. Like, there are names left, but it's a drought. The Vikings are not unprepared. Like, they don't, like, it's not like they're like, oh my God, what happened to all the backup quarterbacks while we were signing the offensive line helping, right? Like, this team is smart. They're prepared. They've got a plan, a clear plan. I think there's a better chance that it's Kirk than it is Aaron Rodgers.
I know you've been really hesitant on this.
I have been.
If Kirk is committed to being a backup and he signs on knowing, hey, I'm a backup, I think he would have a lot to offer JJ McCarthy. Professionalism, film study. Now, there's some things that you want McCarthy to. Kirk is a very rigid.
Till the playoffs start?
You want McCarthy to be things that Kirk wasn't.
And then you stick him in the drawer?
But there's certain things that Kirk can bring to the table to expedite the learning curve that maybe a Brett Rippon or somebody, that hasn't thrown for 4,000 yards time after time.
Yeah. I mean, so I'm hesitant on both, just to be very, very clear. I'm not changing my tune. But if we are now talking about the inevitability of Rodgers or Cousins, and I have to pick one, I'm going Cousins. I would rather have Cousins. I don't want to go through. There's so many reasons I don't want to deal with Rodgers, starting off with the fact that he would have to start. Mm-hmm. Like, if we're talking about, and I previously didn't think this, but if Kirk Cousins, and it appears that our guy says that the agent's talking about QB2s, if he's willing to be the QB2, I don't love this, but I would rather have that. And I got to think deep down in his heart, Kevin O'Connell, if this is their path, would prefer Cousins to a guy he doesn't really know that well. You know, at least with Kirk, even if you think things could go a little bit sideways, you know exactly what those things would be. There's not going to be the unknown. There's not going to be Tuesday appearances on McAfee where Aaron shares information you don't want out, which he likes to do. So I don't like either one, but I will take the Cousins door before I take the Aaron Rodgers door.
Yeah, and just for timeline, there's a huge point this weekend. I think Sunday is the day that he is owed Kirk a $10 million roster bonus.
Correct.
And it just seems like it'd be insanity for the Falcons to pay him. He's going to be their backup. Why would you pay another $10 million and continue with this charade? But I think they're trying to squeeze a draft pick or something out of a team, and maybe a team picks up some of the money.
But you're not going to, like to me, what team is going to take on a part of that contract? And to the agent's point, McCarthy, and he's probably right about this, QB2, you ain't taking any of that.
Yeah. And it's again, if we're trying to figure out why haven't the Vikings done anything with their quarterback room yet, will all these names come off the board?
Correct.
And if the Purple Daily Anonymous tip line is correct that he is coming to terms with maybe being a QB2, and he's looking over and saying, "Oh, this is a guy that's never started before too, and he's got a knee issue, so I'll come in and be QB2, but there's like a 40% chance I'm QB1 by November." Yes. Based on any number of things, right? Or 20%.
And he's making his cash. Like the Falcons owe him. So it's not like I'm QB2 and I just took a huge pay cut. Boy.
I think
I'd do it. I'd bring Kirk back. I'm good with Kirk back as the backup.
If he's committed to being a backup,
yeah,
I'm all for it too. Mm-hmm. All for it. Come on, Judd. Here we go. Hands in the middle.
No, I told you the lesser of the two to me, Kirk. I'll take Kirk. I'm not, do I like this? No, but I would rather have that than Aaron.
John Gargaro says, after the Ed Ingram trade, yeah, that happened yesterday. We talked about that on the Purple Daily Unplugged episode, which you can find on the podcast feeds. But yeah, they got a 6th-round pick next year for Ingram. Mm-hmm. And he says, after the Ed Ingram trade, unbelievable, another team thought he was worth draft capital.
Yes.
And the coming of Garrett Bradbury likely being cut, and then leaving some money aside for the draft and UDFA class, I believe that leaves the Vikings with about $35 million in cap space. And in listening to today's episode yesterday, they haven't introduced anyone yet. What are they waiting for? Windy fingers. Why do they have a bunch of cap space? Why are they sort of backloading some of these contracts? I personally think they're working on a trade for a player either due to get paid or who got paid within the last couple of years. And he says Sauce Gardner. He has not gotten paid yet.
No, he is not.
Yep. I don't know. I'm just thinking it's something interesting to think about. We did just get the Javon Hargrave number. They're literally going way low on the 2025 cap hits for these players they signed and kind of escalating the accounting into future seasons. So based on, it's hard to know for sure, but because we're waiting on a Harrison Smith cap number, but they definitely have at least $20 million in remaining cap space, and some reports say potentially $30 million in remaining cap space for this year.
And we've got now, a month plus until the draft. So I would not be shocked at all if they made some type of major move before the draft. Like we talk about draft night, and will they make a move on draft night? But the reality is this: teams try to do stuff before then. So I would not be surprised in the next, 30 days or so, if there was a major move made of some sort that impacted their draft, but also if Sauce Gardner, I'll throw that bet back out there, is not happy, or like the Jets are like, we're in flux, we don't know, but whatever the Jets are, and I don't know, they're the Jets. But if you could work a deal to get that guy, I mean, your secondary now, your corner spots.
It'd be crazy. And it would be set because you'd probably then give him a big extension.
Yep.
Either now or after next season.
And you
I don't
positioned
think you make
yourself,
that trade.
right? Like
the
financially.
The question is, what would you'd have to for sure give up your number 24 overall pick for a Sauce Gardner. That's probably a 2 first-round picks type of player. unless the Jordan Addison, if they saw value in, all right, let's bring in another good young receiver and figure out our offense.
There is a lot, and it's glorious because it's super reckless, but there is so much going on right now, it feels like.
A lot happening behind the scenes.
Yeah, there's just a speculation constantly circling my head.
Matt Delaney says, wow, Purple Daily getting happy over spending millions on over-the-hill players. Yawn. Thought we were going younger. Water boys, you'll always be.
Yawn.
Wow.
Yawn.
Even put the yawn emoji in there, too.
Oh. Wow. Yeah, you're right. That team sucks. That's a good point.
Are we getting overexcited about over-the-hill, a 32-year-old center and a couple defensive tackles who are 30 and 32 years old?
Do you know how much they needed help? I don't care if you brought in, I don't care who you brought in, their short-term contracts. If they were like 5-year contracts, then I'd be like, okay, this is crazy. No, I do not think that. I think that they are addressing needs. Are we really going to now nitpick ages of guys? You know, we were banging the drum for 2 months, right? Defensive tackles, or at least one.
Yeah.
Offensive interior line help. And now it's like, oh, but they didn't bring in the right guys.
Right. But also, when you look at those free agent lists,
yeah,
when the lists first come out before the franchise tag window, there's a bunch of like A-tier caliber players who are in their prime, like Trey Smith, for instance.
Sure.
But then those players get franchise tagged because teams are like, well, we're not just going to let Trey Smith walk out the door for nothing.
Right.
We're going to franchise tag him so that if someone signs him, we get 2 first-round picks back, or we can negotiate a deal with him and move forward. So by the time actual free agency hits, there's a really small number of high-end 26, 27-year-old players. Mm-hmm. It's usually guys who are 30, 31, 32, and they're getting cut because of accounting, really. It's like, man, this guy, we backloaded his contract 4 years ago, and he was a little banged up last year, and we don't want to be on the hook for a $30 million cap hit or whatever the situation is. Or it's players like Milton Williams, who looks like he's going to be really good, but he was a rotation player in Philadelphia, and he gets a $26 million a year contract to I think he basically reset the defensive tackle market, at least for active players, because he's young. But he's now getting paid to be a 900 snap guy instead of a 500 or 600 snap guy. And the Patriots are paying twice as much for him, basically, as the Vikings are for proven commodities, Javon Hargrave and Jonathan Allen. It's actually kind of risky what the Patriots did. What the Vikings did is only risky in that, like, maybe those guys get banged up again this year.
Right.
But it's not a 4-year contract for $70 million guaranteed.
I'm not bitching about this. I love to bitch. I'm not bitching about this. I love to complain about teams. I'm not complaining about this. The Vikings addressed needs that we said you have to address. And keep in mind, they did sign a right guard who's 27 to a 5-year contract, okay? So it's not, if you look, the last time I broke it down, I think between the guys they've signed off the market and brought back, I think it was 9 guys. I think 4 of them were 30 or older, and the rest of them were 29 or 27 and younger. So it's not across the board that they're bringing in old guys. But look, they needed to fix those spots. They worked to do it. Hard to complain about that.
Yeah.
I mean, injuries are just, I mean, welcome to football. Like, I mean, that's just kind of the nature of the beast here. Yeah, I mean, is it risky to sign a bunch of 32-year-olds, but they didn't commit long term? Hell, and look, these numbers will continue to fluctuate in and out, especially over the next 24 hours. Next year, like, yeah, their cap space situation is smaller, but also there's still like restructures. Look at 2026, their cap space is still in really good shape there too. So it's not a death sentence, and injuries are going to happen in football. You just gotta hope, just like most other teams, like the Twins even too, stay healthy, and this team's gonna be pretty damn good, man.
Yeah. Yep. And the other thing, like when you hit on these guys who are a little bit on the back end of the age curve, if they still have a couple years left, you get them on a discounted price, and you get guaranteed production. You're hoping for Milton Williams to carry it forward a second year and for more snaps.
Right.
So, all right, Chris Burke chimes in. and says, exciting week for the Vikings, but is this really a Super Bowl contending team? We signed 2 guys, 2 defensive linemen who are old and battled injuries, who were cut by their previous teams. Local agent Blake Barrett still managed to get a hometown overpay for one of his players. And we signed 2 Colts offensive linemen who have both battled injuries, including a broken leg for one of them. Certainly all positions of need and exciting to see some action. But let's slow down on the immediate Super Bowl talk. For example, what do you think the over-under will open at next month in Vegas? Last year was a 6.5. Let's hear what the show thinks the over-under will come in at. I'd say 9.5, which will be evidence this team with McCarthy won't truly be viewed as a Super Bowl contender. Just a contrarian voice to the relentless hyperbole Thor pumps out every Thursday. Nonetheless, always appreciate the show. What do you think the over-under is going to be?
It completely depends on who the QB looks to be. If it's McCarthy, he's probably about right.
9.5.
Yep. I think that if McCarthy is the starting quarterback, I think we're going to be surprised at the disrespect because of the unknown. Here's the question: if they sign Rodgers, what is that figure?
I think it'd be heightened because of the perception that he's Aaron Rodgers and now he's going to join this Ferrari. I think it'd be probably a win higher. At least. But the other question is, will Vegas adjust to the miscalculation of the 6.5 last year?
Sure.
Because this is on paper, it's a better roster in a lot of ways on paper than it was a year ago.
Yeah.
But there's still this uncertainty at quarterback. And last year they took the uncertainty at quarterback and said, yeah, it's Sam Darnold or it's a rookie.
Yep.
There's no way. So 6.5. What they didn't account for was the incredible infrastructure that Kevin O'Connell provides as a quarterback whisperer. So will they factor that in for like an extra couple wins when they set the line?
Probably.
I don't
Yeah.
know.
I think that 9.5 with McCarthy is probably about spot on.
Yeah. And there's always like 6 teams-ish that wildly outperform on the high end. And then there's a handful of teams that come nowhere near. So it's certainly not a spot-on exercise.
Just all calm down, okay? I mean, they've only gone and signed a bunch of guys. Just let's calm down. Let's temper the expectation. I hope that they can possibly beat the Bears once. They'll probably get swept by the Packers. Lions, they got no chance. Let's just all calm down.
Oh. Let's all calm down, and let's go get our tickets to the 2025 Purple Daily Draft Party at the Fillmore, Minneapolis, Thursday, April 24th at 7 p.m. It's our annual celebration of the Purple Daily audience and Vikings fans, and we'll see what the Vikings do in that first round. But tickets are available at scorenorth.com/draft, scorenorth.com/draft. We got general admission and then the VIP level ticket with premium balcony seating, 2 drink vouchers, food voucher, Purple Daily snapback hat, and a meet and greet with the show. We'd love to see as many of you as possible. Such a fun time last year and the previous couple years. scorenorth.com/draft, the Purple Daily Draft Party presented by Standard Heating and Air Conditioning. Judd, tell these fine folks about the Canopy Group, if you will.
I absolutely will, because guess what, folks? They are a in-state-based independent insurance company that has your best interest in mind. And, of course, in insurance, that's incredibly important. Much like a sports executive, a savvy one, a GM, constantly on the lookout for the best talent available. The Canopy Group does the same for you when it comes to getting the best insurance coverage at, this is the key thing, the best price. They work with 16 groups of top-tier companies to make sure that you have the best insurance available for auto, home, health, and business. And when it comes time to renew, here's what they're going to do. They're going to go through all of your policies, and they're going to make sure that you have the best one possible. I mean, what more could you possibly want for a peace of mind? Give them a call, 1-800-967-3389, or check out their website, thecanopygroup.com. That's thecanopygroup.com, making sure that your insurance roster is a championship contender. Whoa.
Yeah, Bailey Zappi is off the board now. Well, he's also going to the Chiefs on a 1-year deal. So you can cross Bailey Zappi off your.
We got Mahomes, we
Minshew.
got Minshew, and Bailey Zappi.
I guess. So you can cross Bailey Zappi off your backup quarterback wish list. I know a lot of you guys were.
Chiefs just going to sign a 4th, 5th Just keep signing QBs.
Yeah, they're bringing Drew Lock as well. It's going to be crazy. So let's go to Garrett Phillips. He chimes in here. He says, does Walter Rouse playing left guard intrigue you? It's a late round behemoth draft pick last year.
Yeah.
Heard a rumor that the Vikings were experimenting with him moving to guard from tackle. If that were the case, the line could be Darisaw, Rouse, Kelly, Fries, and Brian O'Neill. That'd be a very, very interesting offensive line to me.
I read that last year, that there was at least talk about that. So it's true. Yes, it intrigues me. It definitely does. Here's what I like now. 4/5 of your line looks to be very, very stable. Mm-hmm. So I feel like if Rouse was to be moved, or heck, by now has been moved to guard, the infrastructure there could be really good. Mm-hmm. My problem is, or I think the problem is, when let's say your O-line has 2 or 3 weak links, it makes everyone else weaker, aside from the standouts, which in the Vikings case in the past few years has been the 2 tackles. So yes, this does intrigue me. I have seen Rouse in the locker room, and he looks like a guard. He looks more like a NFL guard than a tackle. So that would not shock me if they at least toyed with that. I don't know that Brandel's lost his job though. But I would not be surprised to at least see Walter Rouse with the second team at the start of training camp taking snaps at guard.
Yeah, I guess my gut says that the Vikings just need to stop with hope as a strategy at either of the guard positions, and they did, right? They brought in Will Fries, so we're no longer hoping for a draft pick or whatever. Even if Rouse is really talented, I guess if it's Rouse versus Brandel and it's a legit competition, and maybe there's a veteran you bring in as a swing guy or something too. But yeah, you might draft a guy too. You could wind up drafting an interior offensive lineman. So
the idea intrigues me. I'm not going to dismiss it.
The fact that they have kind of solidified the other 2 spots interior, all right, it leaves it a little bit more open. Let's see here. Let's go to Christoph Corner. Says, Phil, I have to state that you are pretty hypocritical about the Sam Darnold contract. For 2 months, you've pounded the table for the Vikings to not re-sign him. Not for 45, 40, 35, 30, whatever the AAV. Now suddenly the Seahawks contract should be a bargain. It's a bargain deal. Yeah, I think, first of all, the Seahawks don't have a quarterback of the future. The Seahawks are, they decided Geno Smith is old. We don't want, he wants a new contract, so we're not going to do the Geno Smith thing for $45 million. And they're drafting, they're like late teens or early 20s, or do they even have a first-round pick? But they're not in a position to draft Cam Ward or maybe even Shadur Sanders. So if you're a team with an opening at the position, you can do a lot worse than Sam Darnold for half the price of the top quarterbacks on the market. If you're the Vikings and you have a top 10 pick that's ready to be unleashed, there's no reason to spend $30-40 million on a quarterback unless you're 100% sure. I would also add that if the Vikings hadn't drafted JJ McCarthy, let's say they just had Sam Darnold becoming a free agent and the rest of the room was wide open, and they're drafting 24th like they are, and they're not in a position to get their quarterback of the future, I would have been pounding on the table to sign Sam Darnold for 3 years, $100 million to that Baker Mayfield contract, because you can be that's saving a lot. That's saving $20 or $30 million to the cap compared to other teams paying Tua and Jordan Love that you can go get free agents for. So yeah, it is a steal of a contract unless you have a JJ McCarthy in the wings waiting to be unleashed.
Just admit you were wrong. Just admit you're wrong. Just say, I was wrong about it.
How is it controversial to say that that's a bargain It is a bargain contract.
Just say you were wrong.
No, I refuse.
And the guy will be like, okay, now I'm happy, and it'll make his day.
I was dead wrong about what his contract would be, but now that it's $33 million, I am right about that being a bargain. That's the compromise.
Did you guys see Sam's quotes from his press conference with the Seahawks yesterday about...
No.
He was asked like way into the press conference about the last 2 games. And his first thing was like, I was waiting for this question. I'm really glad it was asked, and then talks about how he needs to slow things down and blah, blah, blah. And I was like, there ain't nothing you can do about those games, man. They left an indelible mark, unfortunately, on your paycheck.
Yeah. So he was sitting there the whole time, sweating bullets, waiting for that question.
14 questions in. I mean, way into the press conference that finally someone's like, "Hey, let's talk about those last 2 games when it all went to hell for you, Sammy boy."
Yeah. You got to butter him up with 14 softballs before you get to the real question. Steve Mann says Mackey going full heel turn Cena. Is it like the Rodgers stuff? I don't know. I don't know if I'm going heel. Am I? You guys can be the judge.
Dex can decide.
No, I don't think you're going full heel.
He knows.
No. There's no reason to cut the head off the snake. No.
Let's see here. Leif says, I think there's something that you have been missing on the discussion with Darnold's new contract. Was he underpaid, or has the league given more credit to the Vikings' infrastructure? Darnold has had a perfect situation with the Vikings and KOC and Josh McCown guiding him. Great offensive weapons. The contract reflects that although Darnold played really well, the league knows that wherever he goes next, he will not be as good. Also, historically, the Vikings do have a history of taking mediocre quarterbacks and elevating them. And he lists, Case Keenum and Randall Cunningham. Wasn't mediocre, but he was toward the end of his career.
Right.
Yeah, maybe it's all just a huge sign of respect for Kevin O'Connell.
We discussed this. This was on the show. We discussed this very thing.
Okay, no need to be contentious with Leif. Maybe Leif isn't listening to every minute of the show.
Anyway, no, it's a great point. And yes, I believe that it was that the Seahawks got a tax break on Sam because of that. Like, I don't now think that Darnold is the poster child for the day the quarterback payday died. I think it's a reflection of O'Connell. I think it's a reflection of one mostly great year followed up by 2 clunkers. And if nothing else, it's a reflection of, look at the talent. Throwing to Justin Jefferson is awesome, but I think it gets we don't really have that guy on our team. So, yes, I think Sam Darnold is a unique case. I don't think that the quarterback market now has been reset to a cheaper thing because of Sam signing that deal with Seattle.
Let's see here.
I'm sorry if I got upset. I just got triggered a little bit.
You were a little mad at Leif for not listening to every waking second of the podcast.
Leif, I'm sorry. I apologize. It's been a long week.
This is from Jaden Berry here. It was Dak Prescott killed the market. Dude, even Josh Allen, I think his average annual value on the new contract is less than Dak. Pretty sure. Let me pull this up. And because he was on a podcast this week, and somebody asked him, why didn't you look to set? Yeah, so Josh Allen came in at $55 million a year, tied with Joe Burrow.
Yep.
And Jordan Love and Trevor Lawrence. $5 million per year less than Dak Prescott. And somebody on a podcast asked him, why didn't you fight to be the number 1 highest paid quarterback? You were next in line. And he said, how much is the extra $5 million going to change my life?
Yeah, I saw that.
I have a great house. Yep. I have a great car and a family.
Yep.
It's not going to change my life all that much. So we have, whether it's the players or the teams, I guess there's been a little bit of a reckoning here in the last few weeks of, okay, let's take a deep breath and take a step back here.
The quarterback that's going to help decide this is the Brock Purdy San Fran contract. That, to me, is the next. I want to see that one.
Why would San Fran go through like the dismissal of Jimmy Garoppolo, the quick dismissal of Trey Lance? Like, they are ruthless when it comes to these quarterbacks. Yes, why would they then all of a sudden, when the rest of their roster has caved in, be like, okay, yeah, now we're going to do something dumb at quarterback and give a dude 55, 60 who can't carry a team?
What would you pay him? Purdy.
Not 55.
I agree with you, but like, what would be your, if you were to negotiate a contract with Brock Purdy tomorrow and you ran San Fran, what would be your initial offer on the table?
Well, I guess if I'm San Francisco, my first question is, if you strip away the crazy good roster that he's been operating, he's a good quarterback, but if you strip away, which they have now, how much better is he really than Baker Mayfield? Is he better than Baker Mayfield? Or if Sam Darnold does this again for another season where he's pretty darn good, is Brock Purdy, outside of like having done it for a couple extra years, is Brock Purdy definitively better than Sam Darnold?
I hear you.
And I would say, well, that's $33 million a year. So, all right, we'll give you a little credit because you have put up some nice numbers and performance, and we do love you here. So I guess $45 million is kind of where, right now, Patrick Mahomes, because he signed like a few years ago, Patrick Mahomes' average annual value is $45 million a year. He is outside the top 10 highest paid average annual value quarterbacks. I'm saying, Brock, I know that contract's outdated. We're not paying you more than Patrick Mahomes. So let's settle in just a shade under $45 million.
I give him north of 40. I think he has the body work. I'm obviously more the Purdy stand between the three of us, but he's worth that $40 million. If he's in San Francisco too, I think that's also very important for context.
I think I would start at 42, but I would not go over 45 for sure.
Yeah, and then you're at least giving yourself 10 to $15 million AAV to play with to go get a couple players here and there or re-sign your own. So, but exactly. It makes it harder. Stefan says, I have to say that with what the Vikings are doing right now in the offseason is so damn exciting. One thing I wanted to flag, though, could TJ Hawkinson be the best tight end in the league this season? He had a horrid injury, and last year he was clearly rusty, but showed some glimpses of the old Hawk that we knew. Yep. Could this be the season where TJ Hawkinson absolutely explodes with this offense?
There's a changing of the guard, right? I mean, Kelsey now is going to come back, but he's still very good, but he's old. He might be too old. Boy, I don't know he'd be the best, but I think he definitely could enter into, if he is back at his 2023 form, I think he could definitely be top 5, possibly top 3.
Yeah, he's going to be 28 when training camp begins. Kind of crazy. He's actually never had a 1,000-yard season. He's come just shy. He would have had 1,000 yards in 2023 before the injury because there was like a couple games left, and he had 960. But yeah, I mean, I think it's just, let's just say this. I don't think he's Brock Bowers necessarily, but I think he is a top 5 pass catching tight end that could hit 1,000 yards for the first time.
Yeah, and he has to be a top 5 tight end. You're paying him like this. He has to perform as a top 5 tight end. And typically, right, first year quarterbacks do like to throw their security blanket, the baby blanket, in the tight end. You'd like to think that he might, and fully healthy this year, will probably have a big bounce back season.
Yeah, Brock Bowers as a 22-year-old rookie in Las Vegas, 112 catches for just under 1,200 yards.
Wow.
And what was it? I guess 5 touchdowns. So like Sam Laporta. There's some good young tight ends.
That was a hell of a draft pick. That was Detroit, man. They got a draft pick for Hawk, 2nd round pick, right?
Mm-hmm. And
then that was a very savvy switch of Hawkeye tight ends right there to Laporta.
Yeah. Yep. And then there's one more here before we get to our snake draft of the week here. Corey Larson says, it's kind of a random question, but we'll answer it. Why is the NFL the only sport that doesn't have East and West conferences? It's so weird that the Rams and Chargers share a stadium but aren't in the same conference. Same with the Giants and the Jets, I guess.
Right.
And he says that too. Just seems odd that there's not Eastern and Western Conference in the NFL.
Back in the day, there used to be. I think now it might have been when the AFL was still around as well. But I want to say, if you go back and look at the standings, there was an Eastern and Western. They share a stadium and don't share a conference because their schedules though need to be as polar opposite as possible because they can't be home on the same day. So it's yes, they share a stadium, but that actually makes you want to have a big separation. It's not like let's have them play. So it actually does make sense.
Yeah, and and also like, I mean, you could say this about the NFL too, but they had the AFL NFL merger and they just kind of kept it that way, AFC NFC. But the NBA merged NBA and ABA and they realigned. So
yeah.
I don't know. I guess
they did move some teams though. Cleveland got moved.
The Colts.
The Colts got.
They were
moved.
NFL, and then they moved
Pittsburgh,
to AFC.
Pittsburgh got moved. So they did move teams at the time.
Yeah, it's in the NBA and Major League Baseball, there's always talk about realignment or redoing standings and stuff, and I don't know, the NFL haven't heard as much chatter. They
got it pretty good though. Like I like how it's done.
Yeah, and the rivalries are awesome. Yeah. Like it's on. Obviously, you get to play them twice. It's football, so like there's I think just more like attention towards it. But your rivalries in your division are they don't even compare to the MLB or NHL or NBA. Don't even compare.
It's funny. NBA has divisions, but no one cares.
Yeah.
Like, can you even name the other 5 teams in the Wolves? I think there's 4 other teams in the Timberwolves division.
Yeah, Denver's in it, I know.
It's Denver, Oklahoma City.
The standings don't list it.
Utah.
It's Portland.
I think Portland. Portland and the Timberwolves are in the same division in the NBA.
That's we hate them. But the standings are just East and West because it's the playoff seeds, which makes a lot of sense. But I never go to like the NBA and you know what I really want to see? Where the Wolves are in
the division
Northwest
championship.
Yes, hang the banner. Hang the banner.
Yeah. Okay, we'll get to our snake draft of the week here in just a moment, presented in part by Federated Mutual Insurance Company. Federated values face-to-face, eye-to-eye relationships, and they are all about helping you stay focused on growing a business while they stay focused on safety, preventing claims, and risk management. It is truly like signing a great offensive line to protect you, the business owner, the quarterback. You can find out so much more about this 120-year company history at federatedinsurance.com, where they also have a full list of industries they specialize in and all sorts of information about the tools and resources provided. At Federated Mutual Insurance Company, it's our business to protect yours. Also, a shout out to MSP Plumbing, Heating, and Air.
Absolutely true, because guess what, folks? A sports dad here wants to talk to you about 2 things, quality of service and trust. And at MSP, you are going to get both. How do I know? Because I just used them in the past 2 weeks. Water heater, water softener, guess what? End of the line for them. They were veterans who were washed up. MSP came to my house, replaced them, did great work. And again, it's all about, in situations like this, quality of service and trust. And I'm going to tell you right now, the folks at MSP are people that you can trust. They do an absolutely great job. And bonus too, right now, our friends at Fratelloni's Hardware and Garden Store partnered with our friends at MSP for the Big Green Egg giveaway. The grill can be won this simple just by simply booking a repair. If you do that now, get $60 off any HVAC or plumbing repair. You will be entered for a chance to win the medium-sized green egg from our friends at Frats. Guess what? That has a value of $1,000 for service. Give them a call, 651-615-4292, or check them out on their website, callmsp.com. Call msp.com. MSP Plumbing, Heating, and Air. Whatever the situation, they've got it handled for you.
All right, boys. It's time for our snake draft of the week. And a listener suggested this one recently, that we draft our favorite Score North podcast segments and benchmarks.
Love it.
So we got a lot of them on Purple Daily. We've got some on different Score North shows. I was out last Friday. Who subbed in? Was it Age?
Age, and he won.
And he won? Okay. Mm-hmm. And was he picked number 1 last week?
Yes. So
then I bump back to 3rd. Judd, correct. Dex, Phil this week.
Yep. So Judd, Dex, Phil for the order. Yeah. Last week was days on the sports calendar year, the best days on the sports calendar year. And Age played the hits, all football related, dominating 51% of the vote for Age.
Wow, nice job, AJ comes in
3 for 6.
Man.
He's batting.
He does a very nice job.
He's won half the
plays the hits
he's been a part of.
Yeah.
Like you said.
Love it. So we'll go through. Judd gets the number 1 pick. Dex, me, will do the snake draft. So I get back-to-back picks. 3 rounds. Your favorite Purple Daily or Score North segments.
Ordinarily, I do not like having the top pick, but in this case, I gladly will run to the podium, turn in the card to the commissioner, and I will take Reckless Speculation.
Reckless Speculation.
Yep.
Easily one of my favorite things.
Yeah, that's got to be...
Forget on the show, just in life.
There, man. Do you ever recklessly speculate about just things in your family, your life?
All the time.
Yeah, of course. It's called gossip.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, that puts Declan on the board here with the number 2 overall pick.
Okay. Give me Vikings vent line. It's our favorite segment. I guess maybe it's not our favorite segment for drafting all these, and we all have our own opinions. But it's
not Judd's favorite segment.
I didn't take it.
That much.
I prefer to recklessly speculate.
But Vikings vent line, it makes it an absolute blast. You watch a great 3-hour football game, and then, I mean, just speaking for us three, we get another high for 90 minutes, bringing on a bunch of fans talking about the game. Love doing Vikings vent line in the offseason, too, which you can hit me up, vikingsventline@gmail.com, shameless self-plug for the offseason edition. Give me vent line with my first pick.
Yeah, those are definitely the mainstream hits right there. It makes it a little tough to pick third. So I feel like I should go with like the B-side a little bit here. Or maybe not. There's one more real mainstream. All right, I'll take Write That Down. Okay. I'll take Write That Down with the third pick.
Okay.
And then we wrap into the second round here where, man, so many. All right, I'm going to go. Give me Thursday. Give me Thursday with the first pick in the second round.
That was going to be my next pick.
Okay.
That was going to be my second pick. Well done.
That puts Dex back on the clock in the second round here.
I thought I might have gotten sniped there, so thankfully I did not actually. Give me hottest takes. I love hottest takes after games, man. It's been a fun one that we've ended up doing. We used to just do one hottest take, then it morphed into all three of us bring a hottest take. It causes dissension. It causes great conversation. It's part of one of my favorite things. Sunday night, we finish vent line. I get the post-production up. I take a little break. I watch some of the football games, eat some dinner, and then at 7 o'clock when Sunday Night Football starts, I just start crafting those hot takes. I love my hottest take segments. So give me hottest takes.
Just mapping those takes.
Lukewarmest takes.
It is, yeah.
Sometimes they do drift a little into the lukewarm territory. We have to check each other. All right, that puts Judd back on the clock for back-to-back picks here.
Okay, pie chart.
Pie chart?
Okay, I'm going to make you specify pie chart of praise or blame.
Oh.
Because it is technically like two different.
I didn't think of it that way. I'm going to go pie chart of praise.
Okay, you just keep it positive.
Yeah. So pie chart of praise, and then I'm going to go quarterback cesspool challenge.
Oh, damn.
Oh, the cesspool.
Oh, dude.
I love the cesspool challenge.
I think you might have just locked up the win there.
Love the cesspool challenge. Not going to lie.
Ah, man. Yeah, that's a good one. All right, Dex, back to you.
All right. Dogs barking.
Vinster, it's okay.
It's Finn.
Barking
not my dog doesn't bark at the wind.
Finn.
It's the last day of his brother being here
Just
for a
give
week.
Finsky a break, man.
You know, this has been a good test. My wife has always said we should get a second dog. This has been a great.
Is this ruling it out or ruling it in?
This has been ruled out. This has officially been ruled. He's a great dog. He's a great dog. But one dog, we're good. We're good with one dog.
Yeah, that's probably a good point.
All right, so a couple options here. I have one that I love that's outside of the PD realm that we do. And I have one in the PD realm. Because this is fun. I mean, doing snake drafts is a lot of fun. It's a lot of fun doing snake drafts every Friday. I, though, am going to take, which is returning this year, Trevor Plouffe Tuesdays.
Okay.
I'm going to take Trevor Plouffe Tuesdays. We get our buddy Trevor Plouffe on, former big leaguer, current Twins broadcaster, baseball media guy. Give me Plouffe Tuesdays. I love talking ball with Plouffe.
Plouffe's the man. John Boy Media. Yeah. Man, I thought I was going to sneak in there without anyone mentioning it. I will take the snake draft of the week, ironically, as the last pick in this snake draft of the week here. Favorite Score North segments. I think this has become, we started doing these in like May or June last year. It's become one of our favorites.
There's an omission.
Jake with the oversight.
There's a lot of people saying we
Doogie Scoop Sessions.
Oh boy, do not anyone out there tell Doogs we forgot about
well, he's going to see the snake draft graphic that AJ puts up on the Twitter account.
Just keep it quiet.
I think, but you're going to have, and then Ross is going to be offended that no one took the random wolf of the week.
I do have
There's
random
a lot of
on
snubs here, man.
I
want a
random
mock.
on here.
I want a mock. I mean, just Feedback Friday.
Feedback Friday.
Feedback Friday is a great staple.
I don't fit now.
State of our team, state of the Wolves, state of the Twins.
You know what? I'm okay with all those. I think the real snubs are Scoop for sure, The random probably for sure.
Yeah.
That's a snub, but don't.
People say Royce Unchained, but Royce Unchained is more of like that's a podcast. I know semantics here. So, all right, well, here I think Judd's the leader in the clubhouse. The voting is going to take place on the Score North Twitter/X account. Judd winds up with reckless speculation, pie chart of praise, and the quarterback cesspool challenge. Dex winds up with Ventline, hottest takes, and Trevor Plouffe Tuesdays. And I wind up with write that down, Thursday, and snake draft of the week here.
I'm worried you got Thursday. I wanted Thursday. I'm worried. I think that's going to sway. You're going to get
not
some
to mention
votes.
He's probably going to retweet when I
throw
a little self-promotional.
I was trying to hold out for Thursday. If I could have gotten Thursday and cesspool challenge, I'd feel great right now.
We're going to tap into his following to try and sway this vote here.
Shouldn't imagine.
We'll see. So, all right. Well, I guess let Aaron Rodgers' watch continue throughout the weekend before Kirk Cousins' watch starts after the Falcons cut him on Sunday. This could be an interesting weekend. Could be a really interesting weekend.
Yeah. I'll be near my computer.
We'll see. So, all right. Hey, we just want the Vikings to win a Super Bowl around here before we die. It's Purple Daily.